What if everything you've been told about attraction is a lie? What if it's not about chasing her, but about becoming the kind of man she can't ignore? And what if the real secret isn't out there, but within you? Let me tell you something that most men never hear and fewer still ever understand. It's not about your looks. It's not about money. And no, it's not even about confidence. At least, not the kind you've been sold. If you've ever felt invisible, rejected, or like no matter what you try, women just don't respond to you, there's a reason. It's not because you're not enough. It's because you haven't mastered the one thing that changes everything, yourself. When a man becomes still in his mind, unshaken by rejection, and deeply anchored in who he truly is, that's when she starts to notice. Not because he's trying to impress her, but because his presence demands attention. Not with words, but with energy. Not through effort, but through essence. This isn't about tricks or tactics. It's not another dating gimmick. It's the real reason some men draw women in effortlessly, while others keep chasing shadows. In this video, we're going beyond surface advice. We're diving into ancient truths, timeless philosophy, and practical strategies rooted in stoicism, emotional mastery, and authentic masculine power. If you're ready to stop playing the game, if you're ready to stop chasing and start becoming, then let's begin. Number 1, be true to yourself. You've heard it before. Be true to yourself. But most people don't know what that really means. It's not a motivational quote. It's not an excuse to stay stuck or to stop growing. And it's definitely not about rejecting change just to protect your ego. Here's the real meaning, the part no one tells you. Being true to yourself means standing firm in who you are, even when the world or a woman tempts you to become someone else. It means embracing all of you, the flaws, the strengths, the insecurities, the raw, unfinished edges, and walking into every room, every date, every challenge, without pretending. Because the truth is, when you wear a mask to impress her, she might smile politely, but deep down, she can feel it. She can sense that you're not rooted in yourself, that you're morphing into what you think she wants, instead of showing her who you truly are. And let me tell you, that energy, it pushes her away faster than any wrong word or awkward moment ever could. Stop being the man you imagine will win her. Start becoming the man who doesn't need to win, because he lives with purpose, with clarity, and with an unwavering inner compass. When you do that, something powerful happens. You stop seeking approval, you stop chasing, and without even trying, you become magnetic. Not because you're louder, not because you're smoother, but because you're real, solid, present, whole. This is what Stoicism teaches at its core. It's not about being emotionless. It's about being unshakable. It's about being led by your values, not your fears. Your mission, not your need for validation. A man who is true to himself doesn't walk into a room wondering if he's good enough. He walks in knowing he's aligned with something deeper, his integrity, his truth, his inner strength. And here's the paradox. When you no longer need her to validate you, that's when she begins to feel drawn to you in a way she can't explain, because now she senses something rare, something most men never figure out. She feels safe. She feels seen, not because you're trying to win her over, but because you're fully in your own skin. So let go of the performance, let go of the act. And trust this, the right woman will be drawn not to the perfect version of you, but to the truest one. Number 2, the one mistake. Most men keep making with women. Let's get one thing straight. Most men have no idea why women are truly attracted to them. Not because they're unintelligent, not because they don't care, but because they've been lied to over and over again. From the time you're a teenager, you're taught that if you want a woman to like you, you have to chase her. Buy her gifts. Shower her with compliments. Do everything you can to win her. And when that doesn't work, when she pulls away, ghosts you, or says, "You're such a nice guy," but you're left confused, frustrated, wondering what went wrong. So let me be brutally honest with you. You're doing it all wrong. Not because you're not trying hard enough, but because you're trying in all the wrong ways. You've been told that dating is a game, one where your only hope of winning is impressing her enough to gain her attention. But here's the harsh truth. Both men never hear. The more you try to win her, the more you lose yourself. And guess what? She can feel it. Women are incredibly intuitive. They might not always be able to explain it, but they can sense when you're not being real, when your energy is off, when you're performing, posturing, or bending yourself just to be liked. And the more you try to impress her, the more she distances herself. Because here's what most men don't understand. Attraction isn't earned by trying harder. It's sparked by authenticity. It's not about chasing her. It's about attracting her by first mastering you. So let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt totally in control of your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions? If you're like most men, you've been conditioned to react. Adhere to her moods, her texts, her tests. You get thrown off by her silence, confused by her words, desperate to fix what you don't even understand. But what if I told you that the most powerful shift you can make, the one thing that will change the entire dynamic, is this: master your inner world. Become unshakable, because the man who is grounded emotionally, who doesn't flinch when things don't go his way, that's the man she notices, that's the man she trusts, and that's the man she's drawn to. Not because of what he gives her, but because of who he is. And no, this isn't a gimmick. It's not a tactic to get her number or a trick to make her text back. It's a way of living, a mindset, a philosophy that's been tested through centuries by warriors, emperors, and thinkers alike. It's called Stoicism, and it teaches that the one thing you must learn to control is yourself, your mind, your heart, your choices. Because when the world around you feels chaotic and you remain calm, when she tests you and you don't break, when you stop chasing and instead stand firm in your value, that's when she begins to lean in. That's when attraction becomes effortless. That's when connection becomes real. And that's when you become the man that doesn't need to win her, because you already won the battle within yourself. Number 3, charisma of emotional control. You might be wondering right now, what does an ancient philosophy like Stoicism have to do with modern dating? And honestly, that's a fair question. We live in a world of instant messages, dopamine hits, dating apps, and flashy social media reels. Everything's fast, loud, and constantly competing for attention. So how does something that originated over 2,000 years ago still apply? The answer is simple. Because people and attraction haven't actually changed that much at all. Stoicism isn't about shutting off your feelings or becoming emotionally numb. It's not about turning into a robot or pretending nothing gets to you. That's not strength, that's avoidance. True Stoicism is about mastery, the ability to feel deeply but stay composed, to be fully alive yet unshaken, It's about choosing your responses rather than being ruled by your reactions. And in the world of attraction, that changes everything. Because here's what most men don't realize. When you're constantly reacting to her silence, her mood, her compliments, or her criticism, you're communicating one thing: instability. And nothing is less attractive to a woman than a man who feels like a storm she has to brace for. But when you're centered, when you can sit across from her, grounded and at peace, she feels it, not with logic but with instinct. It's not that she's analyzing your behavior, it's that her nervous system registers your calm, your stillness, your strength. She notices the difference. You're not the one fumbling for words. You're not over-talking, trying to earn her attention with stories or self-deprecating humor. You're not performing. You're not posturing. You're just there, fully present, completely relaxed in who you are. That energy, quiet, contained, deliberate, is what sets you apart, because most guys are trying to stand out by being louder, funnier, flashier. But you stand out by being solid. Here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody talks about. Women don't want to be chased. They want to be pulled in, and not with effort, but with essence. The moment you stop chasing her, stop trying to prove that you're enough, that's when something inside her shifts. She begins to feel something she rarely does: curiosity, safety, and desire. All at once. Why? Because you're giving her something 99% of men never will: self-control. And that's where stoicism becomes your secret weapon. Not for manipulation, not as some strategy to get her number or win her over, but because when you live these principles, truly live them, your energy changes. You stop second-guessing every move. You stop looking for approval. You stop trying to impress because you no longer need to. You've already impressed yourself. You've already built something steady inside of you. And that shows in every word, every breath, every pause. When that happens, something incredible unfolds. She stops testing you. She starts leaning in. She starts chasing you. And this power, this unspoken draw, doesn't stop at dating. It pours into every part of your life, your relationships, your leadership, your decision-making, your ability to face chaos without flinching. So if you're ready to stop being just another guy trying to win her, and instead become the man who naturally commands her attention and keeps it, then it's time to go deeper, not into her, but into you. Let's get started. Number 4, the Stoic power of unshakable action. Words are powerful, no doubt, but they're only half the equation. Because if what you say doesn't line up with how you show up, it's game over. She might listen for a moment, but she'll feel the disconnect. And when words and energy don't match, trust dissolves. That's where Stoicism comes in. It's not just a philosophy for thought. It's a discipline of action. It teaches that your movements, your posture, your presence should all come from a place of calm strength and internal stability. Let me show you what that looks like in the real world. Action 1. Master your body language. This may sound simple, but it's where most guys get it wrong. Your body is speaking all the time. Whether you're aware of it or not, it's sending signals, and if your energy isn't aligned, she'll pick up on it fast. If you're fidgeting, shifting your weight, crossing your arms, or avoiding her gaze, you're saying, "I'm unsure of myself." And if you're not sure of yourself, why should she be? So the first step, calm your body. Stand tall, plant your feet firmly on the ground, relax your shoulders, let your breath settle. You want to project calm confidence, not tension, disguised as bravado. eye contact is huge here. A lot of men either avoid it, which screams insecurity, or go too far and end up looking intense or even creepy. The Stoic way. Balance. Hold her gaze for a few seconds at a time, not too long, not too short, just long enough to say, I'm here, I'm grounded, I'm not afraid. And when you do it right, you create something rare, a moment of unspoken connection, a quiet charge in the space between you that says more than any words ever could. Action 2. Move with purpose. Now ask yourself this. When you walk into a room, do you rush in, head down, eyes darting? Most men do, without even realizing it. But here's what that communicates. I'm not sure I belong here. Stoic men move differently. They move slowly, intentionally. Every step is grounded. Every gesture is deliberate. They don't scan for approval. They command space simply by being at ease within it. You don't need to rush. You don't need to prove anything. When you know you belong, you move like it, and women notice. They notice how you walk. They notice how you sit. They notice whether you move through life with tension or with trust in yourself. When you carry yourself with purpose, you tell the world and her, I'm not shaken by the noise around me. That's strength, that's certainty, and yes, that's deeply attractive. Action 3. Small gestures, big impact. Forget what the movies taught you. You don't need to rent a horse, fly across the country, or throw rose petals on the floor to win her over. It's not the grand romantic gestures that build real connection. It's the quiet moments of care. Maybe she mentioned a book she loved. Pick it up, surprise her with it. Maybe she shared something vulnerable last week. Bring it up. Ask how she's doing with it. These small acts tell her you're listening, not just to her words, but to her soul. They say, I see you. I remember, I care. That goes farther than any clever joke or flashy display ever could. And here's the truth. Most men are too busy trying to entertain, to impress, to be fun. But women don't want a clown. They want a man who listens, who notices, who can sit in silence and still feel solid. So instead of trying to be the life of the party, be the anchor in the room, the man who speaks less but means more. The one who doesn't need to steal attention because his presence commands it. Because in the end, it's not just about what you say, it's how you walk, it's how you breathe, it's how you listen. True attraction begins not in performance, but in presence. So if you want to be unforgettable to her, let your actions speak so clearly that words become a bonus, not a necessity. Number 5. The words that touch her soul. By now, you understand that your presence speaks louder than performance, that Stoicism teaches you to lead with calm strength and grounded action. But now let's talk about a tool even more powerful when used with intention, your words. Because here's what most men still don't realize. When it comes to attraction, it's not about being clever. It's not about memorizing witty comebacks or smooth one-liners. In fact, trying to impress her with wordplay often does the opposite. It makes you come off as someone trying too hard. What actually works? Words that feel real, words that connect, words that make her feel seen, not seduced. Because the truth is, women hear compliments all the time. You're beautiful. You're so hot. You've got the prettiest smile. To most guys, that sounds like flattery. But to her, it's background noise, white static, something she's heard 100 times before and forgotten just as quickly. Why? because it's not personal, it's not meaningful, it's lazy. If you want to speak to a woman's heart, not just her ego, your words have to come from a deeper place. Step 1. Say her name like you mean it. This might sound almost too simple, but it works. Using her name during conversation lights up her brain on a subconscious level. It triggers recognition, connection, and a sense of emotional presence. When you say her name, not over and over again, but strategically, at just the right moment, she feels more than noticed. She feels valued, unique, like the only person in the room. But don't force it. Drop it gently into key moments, especially when giving a sincere compliment or responding to something meaningful she's shared. That subtle touch alone can deepen the moment in a way she never forgets. Step 2. Compliment her soul, not just her skin. Most guys take the easy road. They comment on her appearance because it's low risk and instantly gratifying. But the man who stands out is the one who notices her depth. If she opens up about a dream, a fear, or something she's passionate about, lean in. Don't just nod and smile. Show her that you're listening. Say something like, "I love the way your eyes light up when you talk about your art. There's so much depth in how you think." It's rare. That kind of compliment, it doesn't flatter her surface. It affirms her essence. It tells her, "I see who you are, not just how you look." And that's what she truly craves, to be understood, not just admired. Step 3. Practice authentic gratitude. Here's something powerful and massively overlooked. Gratitude, not just saying thank you, but feeling it. When she does something thoughtful, when she shares something vulnerable, or even when she's just being kind, acknowledge it. Let her know you appreciate not just what she did, but who she is behind it. Say something like, "You didn't have to do that, and it really meant a lot. Thank you for being that kind of person." That kind of gratitude builds emotional intimacy fast. Because in a world where most men take her for granted, you become the one man who truly sees her and shows it. And one more thing, stop over-apologizing. Too many men default to apologizing for things they didn't do, didn't cause, or shouldn't even feel bad about. They do it to avoid discomfort, to smooth over tension, to keep the peace. But here's the truth, excessive apologizing doesn't create respect, it erodes it. A man who constantly apologizes comes off as uncertain, weak, and insecure, even if he has the best intentions. Yes, own your mistakes when they're real, but don't apologize for who you are. Don't apologize for taking up space. Don't apologize just because things got a little uncomfortable. Women don't want a man who tiptoes through life. They want a man who takes responsibility without surrendering his backbone. In the end, the words that matter most are not the loudest or the most clever. They're the truest. So don't try to impress her. Speak from presence. Speak with depth. Speak in a way that makes her feel felt. That's not game, that's connection, and that's what lasts. Number 6. How to stay unshakable. Applying Stoicism in real-world relationships. Let's face it, relationships don't always follow the script. Sometimes things go sideways, the date is awkward, the spark fades, she starts pulling away, and in those moments, most men do exactly what pushes her away further. They panic. But a Stoic man? He doesn't flinch, he doesn't try to control the outcome. He doesn't spiral into anxiety. He understands something powerful. His peace is not dependent on her behavior. Let's break this down into 2 common scenarios. If you can master these, you'll unlock a whole new level of presence and power in your relationships. Scenario 1. The date isn't going as planned. Maybe the conversation feels awkward. Maybe the restaurant got the order wrong. Maybe there's just no spark in the air. Most guys would start overcompensating. They'd tell more jokes, apologize too much, try to save the night, like it's a performance that needs fixing. But the Stoic man doesn't fall into that trap. He stays calm, he smiles, he remains relaxed, even when things aren't perfect. Why? Because he understands. It's not about controlling the situation. It's about controlling how he shows up inside it. And ironically, that's what shifts the entire energy of the date. When she sees that you're not rattled by little setbacks, that you don't need the night to be flawless, she relaxes too. You become the anchor, the calm in the chaos. And that right there is one of the most attractive energies a man can bring into any relationship. Scenario 2. She starts pulling away. Now this one hits harder, and it's where most men unravel. Things were going, and then suddenly she seems distant. She takes longer to reply, cancels plans. The warmth fades. Most guys react by clinging. More texts, more calls, overanalyzing everything she said, trying to fix what they don't even understand. But the Stoic man, he doesn't chase, he doesn't beg, he doesn't fall into desperation. He does something far more powerful. He holds the line. He understands that he cannot control her choices. He can only control his response. So instead of chasing her down, he steps back. He gives her space, not as a tactic, but as a reflection of his own emotional sovereignty. And in that space, something happens. She feels the difference. She realizes that you're not like other guys. You're not clinging to her as a source of self-worth. You're not seeking her attention to feel enough. You're whole, with or without her. And that kind of man stands out in her mind. He earns her respect. He stirs her curiosity. And more often than not, she starts coming back. Here's the paradox. The less you try to control her, the more you influence her. Stoicism isn't about pretending you don't care. It's about building such a strong inner world that someone else's distance doesn't shake your core. When you stop being afraid to lose her, that's when she starts fearing she might lose you. Because true attraction isn't rooted in need. It's rooted in presence without pressure. So the next time things don't go your way, whether it's an awkward night or a sudden pullback, remember this. You don't need to fix the moment. You don't need to fix her. You just need to stay grounded and let your energy speak louder than your reaction. Number 7, holding space without control. There's a moment in every relationship, especially when emotions run high, where you're faced with a silent test. She's overwhelmed, she's frustrated, she's not herself, and what you do next says everything about the kind of man you are. Most men, they try to fix it. They jump in with advice. They try to calm her down. They try to change how she feels because her storm makes them uncomfortable. But a Stoic man doesn't do that. He doesn't react to her chaos. And he doesn't try to shut it down either. Instead, he does something far more rare. He holds space. What does holding space really mean? It means being the steady presence she can lean into without trying to change, fix, or manage what she's going through. You're not there to solve her pain. You're there to make her feel safe in it. You become the calm center in the middle of her emotional storm. You listen fully. You ground her with your stillness, not your solutions. You show her through your energy. You don't have to Be okay for me to stay here with you. That's what makes her feel seen. That's what earns her trust. Holding space is different from fixing the problem, let's be clear. Holding space isn't about being passive. And it's definitely not about being her emotional punching bag. It's active strength. It's emotional leadership. You're leading, not with control, but with grounded presence. Trying to fix her feelings is often more about you than her. It's your discomfort with emotion, your need to make things feel better so you can feel at ease again. But a real man, a stoic man, knows that discomfort isn't always bad. Sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it's transformative. She doesn't need you to patch the holes. She needs to know that when the waves hit, you don't get thrown overboard. Subtle leadership, boundaries, and letting go of outcome holding. Space also means having boundaries. You're not there to be walked over. You're not there to be her emotional garbage can. You're there to be her mirror, not her savior. If she starts projecting pain onto you unfairly, you hold the line. You stay calm, but you speak truth. You don't chase her approval. You don't try to win her peace with sacrifice. You say, with your presence, I love you enough to let you feel what you're feeling. I respect you enough not to control it, and I value myself enough not to be consumed by it. That kind of man, he's unforgettable. Because most guys fall into one of two traps. They either try to control her or abandon her when things get hard. You do neither. You stand firm. You let go of the outcome. You lead with depth, not domination. When you hold space, you create safety. When you control, you create resistance. She'll feel the difference. When you try to fix her, she feels managed. When you hold space for her, she feels met. And when a woman feels fully met, not judged, not saved, but held, that's when she begins to open in ways you've never seen before. So stop trying to change her emotions. Be strong enough to let her feel them, while showing her with your presence that you're not going anywhere. That's what stoic love looks like. Not control, not chaos, but calm clarity. Number 8, why she's attracted to mission-driven men. There's something deeply magnetic about a man who knows where he's going, even when no one's watching. It's not about money. It's not about power. It's not even about success in the traditional sense. It's about mission. It's about purpose. It's about waking up every day with a direction so clear that you don't need to prove yourself, because you're already aligned with something bigger. And whether she realizes it or not, she can feel that energy. Why purpose is more attractive than performance. Most men live reactionary lives. They drift, they chase, they wait for permission to feel worthy. They look to women, to pleasure, to validation as their fuel. But the man who lives by a deeper mission, he doesn't chase, because he's already running towards something real. And that's rare, that's powerful. It's not just that he's busy, it's that he's anchored, he's focused, he's building. He's creating something that won't vanish in a weekend or disappear when she pulls away. And that's what draws her in. Marcus Aurelius said it best. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one. The mission-driven man lives this truth. He doesn't just talk about goals. He doesn't just dream. He builds. He acts. He shows up, whether anyone's watching or not. His fulfillment isn't based on her reactions. His identity isn't built on approval. His peace isn't held hostage by affection. That's what makes him untouchable and unforgettable. Viktor Frankl understood the deeper need in man's search for meaning. Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist Viktor Frankl wrote, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how. That why, your mission, is what transforms you, Because when you live with meaning, you stop settling for momentary validation. You're no longer a man chasing fleeting highs, you're grounded in lasting fulfillment. And yes, she senses that difference. She feels when you're grounded in purpose and when you're lost without it when. A man isn't living for something bigger than his next dopamine hit. She knows. She may not articulate it, but she'll feel the restlessness, the hollowness, the neediness in your energy. And when a man is aligned with purpose, she feels that too. She sees the light in your eyes when you talk about your craft. She hears the conviction in your voice when you speak about what matters. And she relaxes into that. Because she's not being asked to complete you. She's being invited to witness a man who's already complete. Pleasure fades, purpose builds. Here's the truth. Pleasure is fleeting. It satisfies in the moment, but leaves you hungry the next. But purpose is a foundation. It sustains you, it grows you, it gives you a reason to show up with strength, even when life gets messy. And that strength is what she's drawn to. So if you've been wondering why your presence doesn't land, if you've been chasing connection but losing yourself in the process, step back, reconnect with your why. Don't just ask, how do I get her to like me? Ask, what kind of man am I becoming, with or without her? Because the moment you start living for something greater than pleasure, that's the moment she starts looking at you differently. Not as a boy who needs her, but as a man she respects and can't stop thinking about. Number 9, mastering non-reactivity in love and conflict in relationships, especially romantic ones. You will be tested not once, not occasionally, but continually. There will be tension, misunderstandings, emotional storms that hit without warning. And in those moments, the way you respond doesn't just shape how she sees you, it defines the entire dynamic between you. Most men, they react, they defend, they argue, they shut down, or worse, they explode. But the Stoic man doesn't do that. He doesn't react. He responds from stillness, not from impulse. And that makes him powerful. Why most men fail in conflict when things get heated? Most guys fall into one of two extremes. They either get aggressive, raising their voice, getting defensive, trying to win, or they fold, apologizing just to keep the peace, even when they don't mean it. But neither of those options leads to respect. Both are reactive, both are emotional, and both show a lack of internal control. The Stoic man understands that you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You can pause. You can breathe. You can choose presence over panic. That doesn't mean being cold. It means being in control. Non-reactivity is emotional. Leadership, being non-reactive, doesn't mean you don't feel anything. It means you don't let the feeling own you. It means that when she's upset, when the tension rises, when she says something sharp, you don't mirror her chaos. You become the container that can hold it. The grounded presence that says, I don't fear your storm because I've made peace with mine. That energy is rare and it builds deep trust. Because here's what she's silently asking in those moments of emotional fire. Can I be fully emotional around you and still feel safe? Your non-reactivity says yes. Tools to practice non-reactivity in real time. Pause before you speak. The space between stimulus and response is where your power lives. A 2-second breath can shift the entire outcome of a conversation. Lower your tone. When things escalate, your calm tone has the power to disarm the tension. It tells her you're not here to fight. You're here to understand. Don't take the bait. Sometimes she's emotional, not because of you, but because life is overwhelming. Don't make it about you, make it about holding space. Reframe the moment. Ask yourself, what's the deeper emotion behind her words? Often anger is just unexpressed sadness, fear, or unmet needs. When you don't react, you shift the entire relationship. Your ability to remain calm when things are hard, to stay steady when she's emotional, to listen without interrupting, to speak with clarity instead of control, that's what earns her respect. That's what opens her heart. That's what transforms conflict into connection. Because here's the truth. When you react, she feels unsafe. When you respond, she feels seen. Non-reactivity isn't weakness. It's mastery. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That's not just philosophy, that's a relationship skill, and one that most men never develop. But when you do, when your inner world becomes steady, regardless of the outer one, you become a man she can trust, even when she doesn't trust herself. So next time you feel the urge to snap, defend, prove, or chase, pause. Let silence do the heavy lifting. Let stillness speak for you, because the most powerful man in the room isn't the one who shouts the loudest. It's the one who doesn't need to. Final reflection. Let's bring everything full circle, because after all the techniques, the insights, the philosophy, there's one truth that stands above the rest. The most attractive thing about you is your relationship with yourself. Not your jawline, not your bank account, not your game, it's your presence, it's your peace, it's the quiet certainty that says, I know who I am, and I don't need you to complete me. I'm already whole. That's the man she falls in love with, not the man who tries to win her, not the man who shapeshifts into what he thinks she wants, but the man who wakes up every day, committed to his mission, his values, and his growth, whether she chooses him or not. Because here's the truth, no one else is saying, she doesn't fall for you because you chased her. She falls for you because you didn't chase her. You chased your own greatness. She's drawn to the way you own your space, the way you listen more than you speak, the way you're calm in conflict and clear in your direction. She's magnetized by your ability to hold space for her emotions without collapsing into them, by the way you lead, not with control, but with unshakable presence. She sees the discipline in your life, the rituals you keep, the way you speak with intention, act with purpose and love without losing yourself. And slowly she begins to feel something rare, something she can't quite explain. Safety, not because you're perfect, but because you're centered. You've mastered your inner world. And now she wants to be part of it, not because you need her, but because with you, she finally feels free to be fully herself. And that's the love that lasts. So stop chasing women, stop trying to impress, stop performing, start mastering, start leading, start becoming. Because when you become the kind of man who no longer needs to be chosen, that's when the world and the woman chooses you, and not just for a moment, but for a lifetime.